In the NFL, the difference between success and failure is extremely slim, and perhaps the biggest decision of all that can make or break a franchise is what to do with their brand new rookie quarterback. When your favorite team drafts a QB in the early first round of the NFL draft, they are supposed to be the key to success. So do you start him right away and let him learn on the field, or do you let him sit, watch, and hope he grows into the superstar you imagined? The first thing to analyze is what has worked in the past. And last year's postseason is a perfect example. There were 14 starting quarterbacks. I'm going to drop it to 13 and disclude the Steelers for this. 9 did not play week 1 of their rookie season, and 7 of them sat on the bench for at least 6 weeks. Overall, it's pretty close, but from this data alone, it would point to benching your rookie quarterback. But this is just one sample. And it's intriguing diving into the last 15 Super Bowls, there's been 30 quarterback starts, and only 10 of them, 1/3 of the sample, started week 1 of their rookie season. Obviously, there's a lot more to the NFL than just the Super Bowl, but this is the ultimate goal, and it seems like the most successful quarterbacks in recent history benefited from a more gradual introduction into the game. But there's a lot more to look at before we finalize that claim. When franchises draft a rookie quarterback, it's not always about talent, it's about hope. Fan bases are hoping that this one player is going to dramatically change the future for the team. The problem is that people aren't patient, so fan bases are impatient. The harsh reality is teams are under immense pressure to show results fast. Owners, general managers, and coaches know their jobs are often tied to that rookie quarterback success. And if you pick a player in the top 10, the clock starts ticking to win immediately. Which really doesn't make sense when you think about it for even just a second. The team is drafting high because of their failure the year before. And more often than not, a team is not just one quarterback away from ultimate success. A perfect example of this dilemma is Zach Wilson in the New York Jets. The Jets have long struggled as a franchise and have been plagued with poor quarterback play. In 2021, rookie head coach Robert Saleh drafted Zach Wilson with the 2nd overall pick. The fans, management, and coaching wanted instant success. They started him week 1, and it was a disaster all year long. And then just after 2 seasons, they replaced him with Aaron Rodgers, and now he's on a new team. Or you can look at Bryce Young, the number 1 overall selection for the 2023 NFL Draft. He's thrown out there week 1, plays 16 games, and wins 2 of them. They start him for the first 2 weeks this season, and then he's benched for poor play. His confidence is probably at an all-time low, as NFL fans are ruthless. And it's extremely surprising that the Carolina Panthers staff wanted to start Bryce Young this season after what happened last year, when they've been watching him in training camp all offseason and the year before. You know what makes the Bryce Young situation look even worse is when you have anomalies like CJ Stroud leading his team to win the division and leading them to win a playoff game. You already know Caleb Williams was punching the air when he saw CJ Stroud beat the Browns in the playoffs, because Caleb Williams is talked to be the best quarterback prospect of all time. Bears fans are probably thinking, if CJ Stroud can win a playoff game, Caleb Williams, damn it, he better win one. When in reality, these standards and hopes are unattainable and extremely rare. In the last 20 years, only 7 rookie quarterbacks have won a playoff game. That's about 1 every 3 years. In every draft, there's a lot more than 1 quarterback drafted. It's not always the first round quarterbacks. We saw Brock Purdy in 2022, the last pick in the draft, win a playoff game. I believe many need to lower their standards for rookie quarterbacks, especially when it comes to making the playoffs. And the hit rate to get a successful QB out of the NFL draft is extremely hard, as college football and NFL are 2 entirely different worlds. In college, quarterbacks often operate in a system which is designed to maximize their strength. They face varying levels of competition. One week they play a high school team and win 50-0. The very next they lose 17-14. And they're playing against less sophisticated defenses who don't have much of a game plan. When in the NFL, they have to go up to the line of scrimmage and read the defense and make a play accordingly. And we've seen the Chicago Bears struggle with this for the last 8 years, as in that time span, they've drafted 3 quarterbacks in the first round. Mitchell Trubisky with the 2nd overall pick, Justin Fields with 11, and Caleb Williams now number 1. They kicked Justin Fields to the curb only after 3 seasons to draft Caleb Williams. Now, Justin Fields wasn't the most winningest quarterback through his 3 years at Chicago, having a 10-28 record, throwing 40 touchdowns to 30 interceptions while rushing for an additional 14. But he was definitely an athlete and getting better year after year, and some say the Chicago coaching staff failed him. And there's also a conversation to be made that they should have drafted Caleb Williams and let him sit behind Justin Fields. But the problem is that if the Bears did do that, fans and people would have freaked out because Caleb Williams has been such a prospect in college football. Everyone thinks he's going to be a star. He's going to be the next Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback of all time in the NFL. Everyone would have threw a fit if he was sitting on the bench week 1, especially if Justin Fields wasn't there. Overall, I think that was good for Fields because getting to Pittsburgh allows him to have a new scheme, new organization, new coaches. When the Bears, already with their new rookie quarterback Williams, I'm not in love with their scheme for their rookie. And in recent years, there's a huge case to be made that the offensive coordinator and the offensive scheme is everything when it comes to the quarterback. For instance, Sam Darnold struggled with the Jets, struggled with Carolina, but this year in Minnesota, he's the best quarterback in the NFL. There's a multitude of reasons for this. Number 1, Kevin O'Connell has done a great job with offensive play calling. Number 2, there's pieces around him, Justin Jefferson, Addison, Aaron Jones, that helps him out immensely. And it's his 8th year in the NFL. He's used to this. And then there's Baker Mayfield with Cleveland. He wins them a playoff game, but after one bad season, they get rid of him. He travels to 2 different teams. Then he finds his home in Tampa, leads them to a playoff victory, and this season, he's a top 5 QB in the NFL. Maybe it takes time for these quarterbacks to develop. I think the biggest piece of evidence to have a rookie sit on the bench behind the starting quarterback and develop and learn and acclimate to the NFL is the Packers. Aaron Rodgers learns behind a Hall of Fame quarterback, doesn't have a start in the NFL until year 4, and then becomes a Hall of Fame quarterback on his own, one of the best to ever do it, 4-time MVP. Jordan Love has 1 start in his first 2 seasons as an NFL QB. His first full season as a starter, makes the playoffs, and goes on the road to Dallas against one of the top 10 defenses and not only beat them, but dismantle them, and then narrowly lose to the NFC champions 49ers. This is what I believe the Lions are doing by drafting Hendon Hooker in the 3rd round 2 years ago. They don't have any plans of getting rid of Jared Goff. He's one of the best QBs right now. They decided him to a new contract, but if Goff ever got hurt, you need a quarterback to go in there and still win you games. We've definitely seen it. If you don't have a backup quarterback right now that can win you a game, what are you doing? But I believe Hendon Hooker could be a stud eventually when Goff retires or when Goff's done playing, or maybe he goes somewhere else. I don't believe he will, but he's learning behind a great quarterback on a great offense with great coaching, and he's a phenomenal player. The biggest debate surrounding rookie quarterbacks this season has been Drake Maye. First overall pick was Caleb Williams. Number 2, Jayden Daniels. And number 3, the Patriots selected Drake Maye, and he has not started a single game. Jacoby Brissett is the starter through 4. The Patriots are 1-3, and they are looking like one of the worst teams in the NFL. And Jacoby Brissett is taking hit after hit, being sacked 11 times in the last 2 games. Honestly, the Patriots defense is fairly good. Decent D-line, and the secondary is where they shine. But it doesn't matter how good their defense is if they never get off the field and the offense never possesses the ball, letting them rest. Ramondre Stevenson has fumbled once in every single game this season. That's not helping. Brissett only has 500 yards passing through 4 games. He keeps the ball out of harm's way, throwing only 1 pick, but they're not getting first downs. They're not putting together drives. He only has 2 passing touchdowns on the season. While the Pats are struggling, there's a lot of voices that are calling for the Patriots to put in Drake Maye. And let me tell you, those people are insane. If he plays, he is going to get ran through. Jacoby Brissett has been sacked 15 times, and he is taking hit after hit, pressure after pressure. He's faced quick pressure on this season, under 2.5 seconds, on 28% of his dropbacks. The highest rate in the NFL. People want to send out their brand new, shiny rookie quarterback they drafted with the 3rd overall pick, and they want him to get sacked 100 times on the season. They want him to have under 2.5 seconds to throw the ball and make his first NFL reads. That's not what you want to do. Play him in next year's preseason. Maybe start him at the beginning of next year, but this season, maybe towards the end of this season, but not right now. Let him get comfortable in camp. Let him acclimate to the NFL. It's not like this is a win-ready team anyway. The offensive line is horrible. The run game, Ramondre Stevenson is pretty good, but with the struggling offensive line, it doesn't matter. The defense also is pretty good, but they're nowhere near elite. This is not a playoff team. They're still rebuilding. There's no reason to rush this. People need to have patience. Then some look at how good Jayden Daniels, he's one of the best quarterbacks right now, and how good the Commanders are. They want that with Drake Maye. They want that with Caleb Williams. Well, the Commanders and Dan Quinn did a great job with their support system. They brought in Cliff Kingsbury, a great offensive mind, great scheme. Brian Johnson. They hired Doug Williams. They hired former quarterback Marcus Mariota to be a mentor. And even if Jayden Daniels doesn't keep up this level of play and struggles throughout the rest of the season, he needs to be supported. When Drake Maye starts next season, he needs to be supported. If Caleb Williams, he's looking all right, but definitely not top tier. If he continues to struggle, Bears fans need to support him. It takes time for these quarterbacks to develop. They're not going to be top 5 in the league in 1 year. Jayden Daniels and CJ Stroud last year are exceptions. They're anomalies. That is extremely rare. If you couldn't tell by now, my final analysis on the situation is I believe a quarterback should come in and be benched for the first half of the season at least. First half of the season, unless you think they have the roster, the offensive mind, the schemes, a great defense, then put them in there. But none of these teams that are drafting rookie QBs in the first 10 picks are Super Bowl contenders. So there's no need to rush into this. Now, I don't think it's bad that quarterbacks are started week 1, but I definitely feel that coaches and fans need to have understanding that it might not be a great year. They may struggle. Peyton Manning set the record for most interceptions by a rookie, and he says he needed that. He needed to go out there and make mistakes and learn. He went 3-13. His second year, he was 13-3. It's very important that the fan base, especially the coaching staff, the team, they get behind the quarterback and they support him no matter what. Otherwise, their confidence is toast. And you look at Bryce Young, man. Last year, he's a number 1 overall pick. Number 1. And when you have a season like that, you're going to get a lot of hate. And it's going to be hard to come back from that. I think the Panthers should trade him. Get him out of there. If I was Bryce Young, I'd want to get out of there. That didn't work there. The whole situation is over. It's toast. They started him for the first 2 weeks of this season and then pulled him. Once you do that, he needs a new structure. He needs a new support system. He needs new coaches, new teammates. He needs new everything. Even new girlfriend. She's hanging out with Tyrese Maxey now. That's unlucky. To end it off, I want to give some quotes on the topic from other players and coaches in the league. First is Aaron Rodgers. Learning behind Brett Favre gave me time to understand what it really takes to be successful in this league. The NFL is a completely different game compared to college, and that time was invaluable. Patrick Mahomes said, sitting my first year behind Alex Smith was crucial. I got to see firsthand how a professional quarterback prepares, studies, and leads the team. Joe Burrow, being thrown in the fire from day one. I knew the expectations, but I also felt the weight. You need a support system, and I was lucky to have some great people around me. Tom Brady. I wasn't expected to play right away, and that allowed me to develop without the pressure of having to deliver every Sunday. That experience was a game changer for me. Andy Reid. A young quarterback benefits immensely from learning the ropes behind a veteran. It's about understanding the game's pace and the expectations before stepping in. Robert Salah. We believe Zach had the skill set to adapt quickly, but looking back, there were elements in place that needed more time to come together before he was put into action. Doug Peterson. The situation has to be right for a young quarterback. It's not just a player, but also the infrastructure and culture around him that matter. And lastly, Ron Rivera. Jayden Daniels is talented, but we're more focused on building a solid base for him. There's no pressure to rush. He'll start when he's ready, and our goal is to make sure he succeeds for the long term, playing the long game. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you enjoy my content, I'd really appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, helps me out a lot. And once again, as always, thanks for watching.